Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. Welcome to the show. I'm Jack Bigadoo. I am the Hood Sommelier. Thank you for being here today. It's Monday. Monday sucks. And we are here to chat today, drink some whiskey, talk about some whiskey, and chat about a specific subject that we picked today. If you're here, welcome. If you're watching the recast, welcome. Uh, Mondays are becoming quite busy right now. Everybody's doing something on Monday. I'm here to remind you, we are the only show on Monday. It's called Monday Sucks. So leave all your friend, your best friend, your baby mama, their baby mama, and their baby mama's mamas, and come on Monday Sucks so we can have a good time. But you know, Monday Sucks doesn't happen alone. I got my partner in crime, the man, the myth, the legend, the hat wearing, glasses wearing, bartender extraordinaire.
I'm starting to think you're running out of shit to say about me.
Oh no,
Man,
I got
he's
plenty.
got he's got a hat and glasses on tonight. Let's talk about that.
I always got plenty to say. Don't worry. I will always come up with stuff. I
Oh
choose I
shit!
choose not to come with stuff when I don't need to, but I
Fucking coming
always
coming
come
at
up
me
with
with
stuff.
violence before the show even starts.
Oh man.
The
But
disrespect.
yeah,
The disrespect.
if you're here, I would like to sincerely take a moment and thank you guys that are coming every Monday and following our show. I just realized, and I'm very
What
honest
up,
when
Calvin? What up, Top Dog?
yeah, that on Mondays I see a lot of shows now coming on doing something on Monday. We were the OG. We were here pre-pandemic, past pandemic, and we always here every Monday. It is unfortunate that people don't know what respect is anymore. To actually, even when they do, no, I'm not being braggadocious.
I'm not saying you are. I'm laughing
I'm
because like
I'm not being braggadocious. I'm just saying, like, hey, if you know somebody does a show on Monday and you want to start doing some on Monday, and you know this person, the least you can do and go, hey, dude, do you mind if I do this around this time? Doesn't mean that you need my permission, but that shows respect. Everybody else that doing something on Monday, I'm just gonna remind you, you on my naughty list. If something come up where I have to give something to somebody, I'm not. You are not part of it anymore because your ass, you are shitting on my Monday show, and everybody's supposed to be here on Monday. That's how I have to give it up to ADHD. I have to give it up to Mash and Drum. I have to give it up to a few people that actually don't bother come on Monday because on Monday there is some people there. So let's let them have it. But if you're here, welcome. If you support the show, welcome. If you're a patron, welcome. Um, I want to make sure that you know how much we love and appreciate you. And I want you to know that if even if you don't hear it from us, we pay attention. Top
for
Dog,
sure.
Calvin. Also, if you're on Facebook, do me a favor. Make sure you actually share it in your favorite whiskey group so they can come here and enjoy. What we're going to talk about today is kind of a general thing for everybody. We the subject today is to talk about um, whiskey names because I almost got into a teasy with someone today this weekend about the whiskey name that they had, and I think the person thought I was being the way they put it is almost like I was being disrespectful to whomever actually came up with the whiskey. So I thought, you know what, this would be a good opportunity for us to talk about. There's so many whiskeys that are coming on the market, and this is our opportunity to talk about these names that may or may not, in my opinion, come
Mm,
off almost as disingenuous, come off
mm,
almost as misleading to the client, come off
mm.
almost as not sincere or as a marketing gimmick, right? Now, if that marketing gimmick worked for you, good for you. Um, we know a lot of marketing gimmick that have worked through the United States, and if you work for you, good for you. But if you cannot relate to your name in any way, shape, or form, I have a problem. And as people that talk in the whiskey industry, as people that bring things to the average consumer, I feel like it is my right to come here and give at least a perspective, an opinion. And if you don't like it, I hate to say, but um, the word here is going to be I don't care. I really don't. So, if you're here right now, I wanted to remind you for people on Facebook, our Facebook is monetized. We take stars, we take likes, we take love. You can actually donate stars now on our Facebook. And if you're here, you want to make sure that you are also sharing this with all your friends in the industry. I'm sharing it right now as I'm speaking to you guys. That's why uh, I'm sharing this now in my whiskey group, my Nebraska whiskey group, so they can actually have it. I'm making sure that people actually come and have a good time, and so we can all talk about it and we can all have a good time. But this doesn't start without us talking about um, our first segment of the show. Our first segment on the show. Our first segment of the show is start always the same way. What are we drinking?
What are we drinking?
What are we drinking? What are we drinking? If you're here, tell us what you're drinking. We need to know. What are you drinking? Is 7:30, 7:40 Central Standard Time, so 8:40 Eastern Time. Some of you, your kids are going to bed, and some of you are just back from work or getting ready to go to work. But Monday usually sucks. So, Tim, what are you drinking?
I brought work home with me. I'm drinking
Some Angel Envy.
some of this and then some of this.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. I will say I've been at Justin's now officially for 3 weeks, I think,
Hmm.
and I've already picked like 3 barrels.
Nice,
So it
nice.
feels good. Like it feels good to be somewhere that actually like gives a shit about me and wants me to succeed because me succeeding is them succeeding. So
Absolutely. Uh, one thing you have to keep in mind is if you're ever in Louisville or in Lexington, just now suburban, the whiskeys themselves, if you're looking for a location, yeah, you will file bankruptcy after you buy there. But the one thing
but we got it.
you have to give Justin House of
Mm.
Bourbon is that they have fire, fire barrel picks. Today, when I do a barrel pick, there's two people in my head that I always tell myself that on my mind. I say if I'm gonna do a barrel pick, there's two people I compare myself to. One is OJ Lima from Taste Select Repeat, and two is Justin House of Bourbon, because those are the two people that ever pick something. And if you don't have the Wilderness Trail, that is the most fire Wilderness Trail ever. That is between
So good.
OJ and Justin House of Bourbon. That's where you know the power of a palate on multiple level. And those are the two I compare myself to. If I can beat those, I'm good. I'm good. Anybody else in the industry, I hate to say it, don't impress me as much. Second close to those two will be Bourbon Enthusiast, but I never met the man, so I don't know. And then third on the other place will definitely be Bourbon Pursuit, but they really don't do the job themselves. Some, people of their membership do it, so I can't really, give them credit for what they do, that they have a great policy. But at Justin House of Bourbon, I know you guys, the team, from Caroline to Ryan
Caroline.
to all these people, they just fire palettes. So it's always
Oh.
good to actually know the people behind the pick. So what do you say, what exactly are you drinking?
So I'm actually drinking now. This, um, you guys go hit up our boy Pablo,
Oh,
and find out
rare,
when this
rare,
is
rare character.
rare character. Find out when this finish where it's gonna be, because this is fucking incredible. This is the
That
best.
that finish may actually be a hood sommelier pick.
Yeah, this might be the best fucking finish of this I've ever had in my life. Like this blows my mind. This is a bottle I have not been able to put down, and I have to, when I do drink it, I have to drink it in little bits because Pablo, you killed it on this one. I've told you this plenty of times, bud. But seriously, guys, if you're
Which
not,
remind me, I have to call Pablo because he's also on my shit list.
oh fuck,
I have to call Pablo. He's on my shit list. I had to, he's, it's funny. I always say this. It's the people I love that are the worst communicator, Tim included. It's the people I love that are the
I'm
worst
so
communicator.
bad.
And the
I'm
craziest
so
thing
bad.
is, even Pablo did the same thing to me. I'm like, I literally had to send him a message, say, dude, do you just hate me? He's like, no. I'm like, it's the people I actually love and care about that actually always are the terrible communicator. But I still love y'all.
What do you got in your glass, man? What are you drinking?
I'll tell you right now. I've been the heat did something to me.
Oh, okay.
Well, the last 4 days is like 100 and above degrees.
Yeah.
And
it's been shitty.
I just could not have whiskey. All I could have at that time was like RTDs, right? That's why I did the review on the RTD.
Fuck yeah, absolutely.
But I realized that when it's hot, you know what I want to drink? Japanese whiskey.
Ooh, because it's light and floral?
It's light, floral, mellow. Yes. Thank you. Top Dog did remember my birthday. He get a bonus for that. I will tell you, Japanese whiskey has just been on my mind since it's been so hot. I've had some Toki highballs. Those highballs are amazing. But even neat, if I want something neat, this Harmony.
Do you have the Hibiki Harmony?
That's a Harmony, yeah. That's a Harmony. The Harmony, the Harmony, the what do you call it? The Nika, the Cheetah. Those are all things that I'm just enjoying right now because it's light, it's floral, and grain whiskey. The one thing I realize is that a lot of people don't talk about single grain whiskey. We talk about single malt, we talk about bourbon, rye, high rye and whatnot. But grain whiskey is not something that is talked about as much. So we probably need to have an episode when we talk about grain whiskeys and see what are the good grain whiskeys out there.
Sure.
They're more like European or Asian that are grain whiskey, but I'm loving this.
That is a healthy pour there. That is a Monday sucks worthy pour right there. I'm over here babysitting.
But it is a Japanese.
This is also true.
Pour, so I'm not falling off my butt anytime.
I'll show you one more thing that I've been kind of I don't know crazy about, but definitely drinking a fair amount of. Sierra Note. This follows all the characteristics of being bourbon, but the fact that it's made in Mexico, it's not bourbon. So it's
whiskey,
bourbon, but it's whiskey. But it's very unique. This is the Oaxacan yellow corn, but they have a blue corn. They have a yellow corn, a white corn, a blue corn. I think they may have one or two more. But it's super unique. I know you and I have talked about this a few times, but every once in a while, bourbon gets boring. And you kind of have to have something that kind of, gets you excited again, either in a side category or another category completely. That's why I really liked this.
For me, it's cognac.
This got me really excited. Oh, sure. But
when bourbon gets boring, I do cognac. Yes, Matthew Spector asked if this was the only live we have. Yes, it's either we are live here or on IG. But for me, is cognac when it's hot, but it is Armagnac when it's cold. So I love Armagnac when it's cold, and if I really, really, really in the summer days, I walk to gin. I'll go to the gym,
Yeah, there you go.
make myself a nice Negroni or Boulevardier when I want something sweet as dessert, and I'll just stay there to the point where sometime I'll go a month during the summer without drink. The only time you see me actually drink whiskey like every time, and I'm talking like from single fall is for single malt.
Mm.
Fall hit, you'll see me have single malt. I'm talking peated whiskeys, some some amazing Highland, some like very deep to the core. What do you call it? Space side whiskeys. You'll see me during fall. Winter comes, bourbon and rye. A lot of rye.
A lot of rye for sure.
We get into spring. Usually is bourbon mixed with a little bit of cognac. We get in the summer is usually gin, Japanese whiskey, and so it's kind of for me is a crazy thing because is it's no somebody just said it's funny. Somebody made this comment like we need to bring to Darcy. You need to develop your right palate. I hate to tell you, but because
I would say your rye palate has gotten pretty developed since we started the show.
Actually,
it's grown. It's so cool to see that develop.
You know the funny thing? Because I'm so picky about my rye, when I pick a rye, it's fire.
Yep, 100%. Like when we picked those rye barrels of 291.
Those 291 ryes, when we picked it, and somebody went, "Hey, how did you pick this rye? I thought you don't like rye." And I'm like, yes, because I'm so picky with the rye I like, I literally become this weird ass Jedi guy when it comes to rye because I want the best of the best. So even the person that does not like rye could actually go, okay, I can see myself drinking this. Believe it or not, during the winter, I drink quite a few rye. I've had a few rye just sitting around, just that I love drinking. And people think it's weird, but the only time I will crave a rye is in a snowstorm. Every time there is a freaking snowstorm, I just want to sit with a bottle of rye. I still remember last year, 2 years ago, when we had a snowstorm for I think we had a snowstorm for 4 days. 4 days, and I guarantee you I finished a bottle of the Jack Daniel's single barrel rye.
Oh God, that's so good.
But it's not something that I would tell you right now that I wake up in the morning and I go, oh my God, I need to have a rye. No, that is not it. And usually if you want to see me have something, what is my go-to immediately is always scotch. You will see me pour myself a single malt. Why? Because that's my default. That's always my go-to.
I would say there's like a handful of things that I could drink on a regular basis that I legitimately crave. And they're usually bourbon related. I think there's probably a scotch in there now. But I think that I would say the three things, and they're all from the same distillery: Wild Turkey 101, Russell's 10-year, and Long Branch. Yeah. They're so easy to drink. They have great flavor. Those are the things that get me.
What would you say will be your celebratory drink every time you feel like you accomplished something? What's the first thing? If you only had one thing to drink to celebrate every time you had an accomplishment. Money doesn't matter. Just one thing to drink. What would it be?
It would probably be 59 Old Crow. Because that's what really got me into whiskey. That was some of the first whiskey that I had that wasn't Jim Beam. My uncle drank Jim Beam. I started drinking whiskey when I was 13. And it was Jim Beam. And if it wasn't Jim Beam by itself, it was Jim Beam and Coke. And that was kind of my perception of whiskey. It was just that. And then I think I'd been 21 for maybe 2 weeks, and I was at my buddy Tony's house, and there was this jug. It was was a 175,
Mm-hmm.
like the jug, and it had the tack strip on it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, I was like, oh, I can't open that because of the tax strip. And it was like his step uncle or whoever was like, fuck it. This is meant to be shared. Like, let's open it. And I remember like my mind just exploding. So it's the little versions that I've seen the most of it are the little travelers. They're like the old crow traveler.
Mm-hmm.
That would be it. Like those are not cheap. And that's the, oh man, Booker's Rye. That's a good one too. But that's kind of where I think that's kind of where my mind goes instantly when people go, so why bourbon? And that's instantly where I go every time is a 59 Old Crow.
There's two pours that I will have every time I celebrate. Man, I know I have my like go-to celebration pour in every category.
Sure.
If you ask me, bourbon is gonna always be Parker Heritage 24 year.
Oh. Is that the Promise of Hope?
Yeah. That Parker Heritage 24 year is for me is I don't care what you say. I drink that and I jizz in my pants. It was. Beside that, when it comes to single malt, I will have myself a Buna Haben Bordeaux cask. 2010, I believe is.
Man, some of those fucking Buna Havens, those wine casks, especially those older ones,
they are phenomenal.
They're stupid good, so goddamn good.
When it comes to rye, I will agree with everyone.
Booker's Rye is outrageously good.
I had a half of an ounce of it before, and I know Jesus is alive.
Keep that on the screen because I want to come back and talk about that. That's something I want to talk about for sure.
Well, Booker, right? Got last
this 15 bottle blind. I want to know more about that. If Ryan, if your fingers are feeling frisky and you want to talk about this, I definitely want to hear what was in this lineup and who was in it.
Yeah,
as far as
but I will tell you right now, I can see Booker's coming last in a 15 roundup. Here's why. There is 3 or 4 ryes that I'll put against Booker's. That Booker's rye.
Against a Booker's rye?
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason why is because the Booker's rye, my only thing is somewhere on the proof, right? Somewhere on the proof.
That's fair. That's
the only place I will come from, right? Somewhere on the proof. But there is some ryes that are so chewy, that are so delicious. Perfect example will be my 100% perfect example I will start with is Michter's Barrel Strength Rye.
Okay.
I'll put that against Booker's Rye.
I'm trying to find the rye I'd put up against. Here it is. Go ahead. Second,
that Barrel Strength Rye from Jack Daniel.
Oh yeah. Yep. I'd put that in the mix.
You know what I'm saying?
I'd put that in the mix.
I'll put that in the mix. Because like I say, I'm so picky about my ryes that if I pick a rye, it's because it is that good. It is that good.
This guy.
Okay. Redemption Rye. Yeah.
This thing is fucking stupid. I have probably shouldn't be talking about it because that means I can't go and get more. And these are still sitting on shelf places. In fact, you probably could find these in your town where you're looking. Whoever's watching this, Jack, you probably find this too sitting on the shelves.
Probably.
Yeah, but this is a 10-year-old cask strength rye. Phenomenal.
What is another rye that actually
Lot 40 cask strength. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that bottle's phenomenal.
I've been looking for that bottle. Like, Nate, you need to invite me to your house so I can have another pour one time because the last time I had it, my nipples were hard as well.
Yeah.
That was that was
120
okay.
proof and up and not just
Yeah.
rye. Oh, okay. See, that's different. That's different.
That's different. That's what I was about to say. But I will tell you, there is comparable bottles to. I mean, these some bottles have what I like to call, they have that legacy that follows them, right? And but we are not. Oh, my favorite rye. My favorite. Oh, you know what, Nate? Nate, you're in trouble. Nate is in trouble. Do you know why Nate is in trouble?
Why is that?
You know what? I don't know if I want to choose violence on Nate or not because I love Nate. The reason why
Nate's a good guy, man.
Yeah,
Nate's a good guy.
Nate's a good guy. Nate's a good guy, but I've been hinting to Nate since his whiskey came out. I've been hinting to Nate since the whiskey came out. Nate, when are we tasting this? Nate, when are we talking about?
So I will say this: I will give him a small free pass because when he was out here, he did get COVID, and I didn't even get to hang out with him the last part of his thing. But we talked. We are working on stuff.
No,
we're working on it.
I already knew. At this point, I just want to taste the whiskey, right? I just want to taste the whiskey because Jackie won't talk to me. So yeah,
I talked to him about this too. He's like, "Oh man," and I was like, "Nah."
No, I don't know what Jackie has against us, but it's fine.
I don't think she does, but it feels like it.
It feels like it because of past behavior, and I still have.
I don't think it's her.
I don't talk without receipts. I literally went in today when I saw that she was going.
See, look. I told your ass.
and when she come to the show, I will ask her the same question. What did we ever do to you, Jackie Zykem? You need to tell us. Before we start the show, I say we need to air that violence here and there so we can know what did I ever do to you so I can apologize properly so we can become friends again. Because
I think it's her past employer, dude. Like, I talked to Nate about a lot of this and he laid a lot of shit out. He also told me, he's like, I'm not going to tell her story, which I always respect when someone says that, but I really think it was her past employer. Like, I really do.
And because I'm African and I believe in the old traditional way, I don't know who's here, come from an Italian family or an old protocol family, I'm disrespected. Monday Sucks is disrespected. We've been here without how Jackie gonna be on Bourbon with Friend podcast before she's on Monday Sucks. That doesn't make sense. Make sense.
It's valid.
So you go into the show off show, the celebrity fluffy, we don't know about whiskey, but we'll talk about it anyway show before you come to the people that actually enjoy it. Come on, man. I love Bourbon with Friend podcast, but we all know they're about the fluff. That's as clean as it can be. I'm glad we don't have celebrity friends, so we are fine. But here is where we talk about the real issues. What has to do with whiskey for real. I'm happy for most people's success. I don't envy anybody. But when it comes to what we do, I believe somewhere when a brand come on the show, this is where we come first because we respect the art and the people behind the art. That we do.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying is because we ask the tax team questions.
Correct.
Like she could have been stuck behind a wall. Like, great example of this, okay? When Dan from Michter's came on our show. If you go back and watch that, he took a lot of really hard, deep gulps. And even though he invited me to come hang out with him while the show was still going, guess what?
He's like, fuck this guy.
No, he did it. He did it to save face, which, Dan, love you, bud. Nothing wrong with it. I get it. I know the show was super hard, dude. Nothing but respect. But, like, That's what's going to happen when you come on the show.
It's called Monday Sucks. We are here to talk about the truth. We don't bullshit people on this show. And I would tell you one thing. Anybody that came on this show and left saw a great success on people's feedback and if they took feedback from people or us seriously on what we've said, they've always seen amazing result. Because
agreed,
we do not lie to people on this show to actually look good. I tell people all the time, if Tim and I objective of this show was to be famous, if the objective was to be fluffy, be famous,
we already been there.
All we want, we'll just sit here and lie. I saw a meme the last time that made me feel bad for Fred. Like when your friend, your buddy posted about that.
I saw
we have a shitty ass whiskey. Bring the ascot, and you know that the simple fact that he went sideways at Fred like that, I was like, is it true? Maybe.
But who cares?
Was it called for? No. But is it an image some people had of Fred? Yes. Right? But I took offense to that because I'm like, Fred does not pick the ascot. There is 15 other amazing palate, including mine, that picked the ascot. And every single person on that board are people that have way more following, have more understanding and respect for the whiskey than anybody else. Fred knows he can pick the whiskey because he'll be the bad guy anyway.
Yeah.
But he made sure that every single person that was on there, he picked them very carefully, right?
Oh, because sure.
What they say in this life, they say, if you're not good at something, bring the people around you that are good at it, right? So, you know, Sam is here. Yeah, that's that. But we keep it real. We keep it real on the show, and I think it's respectful because the one thing I've always hated about people, and when I come on shows, is that people actually come and fluff people's ego. I'm like, don't do that. Be real with the people. Talk to them. Tell them if something is not so great. Let's go. Let's talk about it.
Well, I mean, if you look at like one of the reasons, like if you look at some of the repeat people that we've had on our show, one of the reasons that we've had repeats with them, we'll bring up Sam because Sam just came. Sam's told us plenty of times in our waiting room before the show goes, she goes, I love that you guys keep it real. Every time. She tells us that every single time. And like, if we don't like something, we're not going to shit all over you, but we're going to say what we feel. And that's the big thing. There's a professional way to get across that something's not for you, but it doesn't mean it's bad. And I feel like you and I do a really good job of that.
Absolutely.
And that's why people come back. That's why we keep doing shows with Sam and 291 and the people that we've had on our show over and over and over again.
Yep.
Because just real.
Just real. We are no bullshit.
It doesn't make what we're trying bad. It's just it's not hitting for us. And here's why. Maybe you'll like it. You'll like it if you like X, Y, and Z.
Correct.
Simple.
Always fair, because I believe in two things when it comes to whiskey world. Fair and balance, right? Fair and balance. But which bring me to the second part of our show, which is
upcoming news. Oh wait,
I'm messing with you.
Wait, which one? I was like, whiskey news.
Whiskey news. Whiskey news. Whiskey news. What's up, Morgan? Whiskey news. Whiskey news. What is new? What is new? I have a few things that I know for sure are new. What is new in the whiskey world?
So a local here in Louisville launched his own brand this last weekend, called I think it's Old Louisville.
That is exactly what we're gonna talk about. That's what I got into a fight about.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about it.
No. But we'll come about it when we
come back to it.
The real subject. Yeah.
The guy who's behind it. I'll just say it really quick. The guy who's behind it. I mean, he has really good rapport and history here in town. A lot of people know who he is. He's very transparent. He does in his liquor stores. He does sell things for markup, but if he knows who you are or he has some rapport with you, he'll be open and honest. Be like, hey, I got this for this price. If you want it, you can have it for the price that I had it. But he does have a markup. I mean, so does Justin's, right? I mean, it's a thing, right? It's you're gonna pay you're gonna pay a premium for stuff. Like you can't just walk in and get it anymore. If you can, you're gonna pay a premium because somebody else had to pay a premium. But the dude's very open and honest, and I like that he's being, from what I can see so far, he's being open and honest with his brand.
Okay.
I dig it. Haven't got a chance to try it, but so far, leading up to what he's done thus far, I'm about.
On Whiskey News, Four Gates.
Four Gates
has launched their last five batch and four batch and one returning batch. From what we have here, if you realize if you've had Four Gate or have bottle of Four Gates, one is the bottle has changed.
They ran out of glass.
The bottle has changed. So batch 22 came out, which is a 10-year Indiana whiskey. Batch 23, which is called the Barossa Creek, is a blend of 6 and 7-year Kentucky. Batch 24 called BRBN Down Under.
Bourbon Down Under. That thing is fucking delicious.
In High Rye Indiana Straight Whiskey is batch 24. So that's what they've had so far, and they have a special one coming out from Four Gates. That will be a hazmat at 144 proof, MSRP at $450. So
I'm saving my pennies for that one. That's the one I got my eye on. That's for damn sure.
That's what we have in Whiskey News. Another news that we have here as far as whiskey is concerned, I just got the box. The whiskey called 15 Stars release their whiskey. I don't know if you 15 Stars.
They that brand left a bad taste in my mouth.
Okay, 15 Stars. New whiskey, blend of two whiskeys, 7 and 15 years, I believe, is what we actually had from 15 Stars. That's what we have for 15 Stars. New brand, a Kentucky whiskey, Kentucky straight, 7 and 15. What happened with 15 Star?
I will tell you a story. A quick story time. So when I was still at Evergreen, this was probably about 6 months ago. It was a Friday night, so they close at midnight. And it was like 5 minutes before we closed, and this family came in, which was fine. Happens all the time. People eat across the street at an awesome Cuban restaurant. After they're done eating, they'll come across the street to the liquor store. Super cool. So they come in. I'm like, hey, guys, just so you know, we close soon, but feel free to look around. If you have any questions. And there was an older, like, I don't know if he was late teens, early 20s, whatever. He comes up to the counter and gets real sassy with me. He goes, "Do you guys have 15 Star?" And I was like, "No, I haven't heard of that." He goes, "Well, you should. It's my dad's company." And like as he's saying this, his dad's leaving and he goes outside. So him and I are going back and forth talking, and the partner that I'm working with locks the door because we're now closed. Thought dude left. So he comes back and he has like all the material for his company. And he's like, he starts going on and on about it. And I was like, look, man. And I was like, that's great. I was like, but your son is super rude. Like super entitled. That Cuban place is amazing. Super entitled, super rude, like acted like I didn't know what I was talking about. He was the best thing since fucking sliced bread. Like maybe that's not his dad, but like his family has conditioned him to act that way. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, you know what? Fuck this brand. I want nothing to do with it. I don't even want to taste the whiskey. Their marketing company reached out to me and they said, "Hey, we really want you to review this." And I was like, "No, thanks." I was like, "Don't even send me any. I don't want anything to do with it. It's probably good whiskey, but like the fact that you came at me that way, bad taste, man. Bad taste. Not for me."
All right. I understand how you feel about it. You obviously had a one-on-one. Hopefully, I would love to have him on the show.
So would I.
You know I will talk about, I will bring it up, because if you're an asshole behind a brand, obviously we will talk about it, because that doesn't, being a jerk doesn't, and you make good whiskey doesn't always qualify you to actually have the marketing you need, but it may be a misunderstanding.
It's possible. And I would love to. I would have loved to. I would love to sit down and talk to him. And I was like, this really. I even told. If it was his dad or if it was his company or whatever, and he had all the marketing material. I even told him, I was like, look, man, this really isn't the best time to like have this conversation. Like, your son just came at me. I'm trying to go home. It's fucking midnight, a weekend. He's like, yeah, well, we were out, blah blah blah. That's fine. I get it, but read the room. Read the room. It could have been like this. It could have been like this. Hey, man, I'm so and so. I know it's late. Here's my card. I'll be in touch. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
I want to try the whiskey. I'll probably review on a Truth is Barrel Proof podcast, see how exactly that whiskey is.
But yeah, I would love to sit down with him and
I send them an email.
Let's go.
The simple fact that they send me like a sample. They have to send out a bottle if they want to be on the show, but that's not here and there.
Nope.
Let's go to the other whiskey that came out. This is an impressive whiskey because this is the first time 4 craft distillery decide to come together. The company is called American Mash and Grain, and the whiskey they came up with is called is a one of a kind American whiskey. It's called American Mash. Mash and Grain bring you any new production. Hold on, I forget. Why am I forgetting the name? Sorry. I was so excited to just talk about the 4 distilleries. I posted that on my on my Instagram, but what did they call it? So let me read this. For so long, American whiskey has been thought of as one thing. There are a growing number of craft producers in the U.S. that are working hard to challenge this convention and establish their own local identity of American whiskey. American whiskey is diverse in thought, expression, and approach as American itself. We want to create a product that highlight some of the many pioneers, leaders, and innovators working hard to redefine American-made whiskey. So volume 1 of this product, this is the first volume, include 4 whiskeys. Those 4 whiskeys are Watershed Distillery. These are all craft distilleries, by the way. Watershed Distillery,
I know that one.
Columbus, Ohio. 34% of all the juice that was blended is from Watershed. 32% is from, I never heard of this. And guys, I'm so serious. I never heard of Wiggle whiskey.
Wiggle?
Yeah, Wiggle. Wigle.
Haven't heard of it.
Whiskey is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 32% of this juice came from there. 24% come from Old Faithful, Spirit of French Lake, and West Baton, Indiana. And 10% of it is coming from Whiskey del Bac from Tucson, Arizona.
Huh, okay.
So they got together to create this one-of-a-kind product that is now 4 whiskeys together to actually give you one. Ooh. So the product is called Borrowed Page.
Okay, that sounds
Borrow
fun.
page.
I like this whole idea, like collab, like
This Borrow Page American whiskey is $75 MSRP, and the blend was created and collaborated with Ann Dimnick. So that is pretty much all we know about this new whiskey that was out. Um, any another whiskey that is out that you guys may know is Batch 33. We reviewed it today. If you follow the podcast, The Truth is Barrel Proof, Ian reviewed it today. Um, Batch 33 of Barrel Bourbon. Batch 33 of Barrel Bourbon is out. Um, it's a blend, 116.6% for 6 proof. And they say it is their best one yet.
ooh,
Barrel Bourbon.
that's a statement.
Yeah, by 33 is out. Another whiskey that is out is the Guadalupe. You will see me see it on my IG. The Guadalupe from Garrison Brothers out. Um, for all of you guys that actually don't know, um, Garrison Brothers usually would have some they have some uh, they've bought some barrels from Portugal, some port barrels that are special barrels that they age some of their whiskey in the Texas heat to give it their Guadalupe that they release annually. This is their second annual release of the Guadalupe that is actually out. So that was whiskey news. If there is any whiskey that you guys actually think we have not talked about, please feel free to reach out to us and let us know if we miss a whiskey that is out there that we need to let the people know about. Now, let's come to the subject at hand. Subject at hand. The subject at hand that we bring into you today is about whiskey names. The one thing I've realized, I'll go back 6 years from now when I got into whiskey, bourbon, because I have to be specific bourbon. Because one of the things that I'm known for sure is anytime, anytime we talk about whiskey, um, and when you go into, for example, into Scottish whiskey, it's always been a family name or the terroir name. Glenfiddich, Glendronach, Bunnahabhain, Ardbeg, what do you call it? Kilholman, what do you call it? Johnny Walker. You know, what's there's plenty of just a Macallan. When you hear all these names, it always had to do with legacy. So for when I always hear a name of a whiskey, in my mind, the first thing I think of is legacy,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Uh, but but when recently, if we go back in the last 5 years, one of the things that was probably the most misleading to me when I came into the bourbon game is the names. The names have been quite misleading, right? But if we're gonna start this conversation by the reason why I'm bringing this conversation that we want to talk about the whiskey names is that let's start by the legacy brand, the top 15 of in the whiskey industry. Let's go by the legacy brand. If you talk about Heaven Hill, right? Heaven Hill, you understand why they call it Heaven Hill. If you dig in, you will know exactly why. It have nothing to do with marketing. Have nothing to do with marketing. It literally had to do with the story of the family, right? Heaven Hill and the terroir, right? Where it is. Elijah Craig, they're giving homage, right, to somebody specifically, right? Uh, let's get into Wild Turkey. Why was it called Wild Turkey? It had a name before Wild Turkey.
Austin Nichols.
But there's a reason.
This is what I think. Okay, so they went on turkey hunts. Okay,
Correct.
and when they would go on turkey hunts, they would always bring whiskey with them. What I think happened is reliving, you know, maybe a couple days after, maybe a weekend after, they're all sitting around, and I bet you someone said, "Hey, do you got any more of that wild turkey bourbon? The bourbon that when we were hunting wild turkeys, do you got any more of that?" And it was aha. That's how that name started.
I agree.
But it's cool things like that. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a little cheesy when you come down. Like, if you really want to, like, the whole Elijah Craig thing. Like, if you come here to Louisville and you do the Evan Williams experience, the whole tour thing, it's kind of hokey and it's kind of cheesy, and the whole legacy behind how they got the name is kind of corny. But
you understand, there's a story there.
There is a story, absolutely.
But the story matched what happened, right? If we go back to Elijah Craig, right? If you look on about the dates are specific. Elijah Craig is a reverend that love making whiskey. He had a barn where he actually preached and also store his whiskey barrels. He would send whiskey. Used to be only one way. It used to take about a month and a half to 2 months for whiskey to leave Kentucky to go to Washington, D.C. or Pennsylvania, where we had people that actually enjoyed that wild water, it was called at that time. And from there, you have his barn burns and some of his barrel that is keeping the whiskey in. He poured it in and still send the whiskey over. And they say, "Hey, Joe, we love what you got going on, because the shit you used to send us is great. But this whiskey you just sent us, the last one that was burned, that the one that you say was not so good, you give it a discount on. That's what we want.
We need more of that."
He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, we like that one because it was much more chocolatey. It was much more, it was much better."
What's up, Anthony?
Elijah Craig is the father of whiskey, in the sense of he's the first one to actually put whiskey in a charred barrel for it to actually go out to the people. Right? There is a specific story there. Now, call me old-fashioned, but for me, there is and that's true. Call me old-fashioned because I believe there's nothing, right? There's nothing in this life that should be given without a sense of story. Because I'm in sales. In sales, they teach you one thing, right? They teach you one thing. People don't care about price. No one.
More or less, sure.
No one cares about price. You know what people care about? The why they have to spend that money.
Okay.
No one cares about price. Everybody cares about the why. Because
why is this $500? I want to hear why.
Exactly.
Sure.
But you know where that why comes from? The story. The story. So when you walk into a sales presentation, till the end, no one talks about price. In any professional sales presentation, no one will ever tell you about price. When I even present insurance to people, or I have to sit somewhere and tell someone about insurance, I never say price. And people are like, "Oh, how wouldn't you just tell me what it is?" Even when the client or the person asks me, "Okay, give me the bottom line." I'll be like, "I understand, but I cannot give you the bottom line without you knowing why." And they go, "Okay, that makes sense. I need to know why." That's what makes it relative. Because if somebody actually is spending 500 and something, when someone will look at it and say, "Fuck no, I'm never going to spend 500 and something," is because it is worth 500 to someone, but worth $5 to someone else. And the correlation between those two people grabbing the same thing at different prices is the story. It is the name, the why, the where, the when are things that actually happen. So if let's start with my nemesis, Chattanooga Whiskey. Let's start with my nemesis. Right? Chattanooga Whiskey. Right? The first time I heard Chattanooga Whiskey, it was a no-brainer. It was literally a no-brainer. Why? Because it's Chattanooga whiskey.
You know what it is, and you know where it's coming from.
It's like even if I was a dumb motherfucker out there with two brain that I cannot rub together, if you ask me what is it, oh, it's Chattanooga whiskey. Now, the next question will be, oh, what type of whiskey they make in Chattanooga that they got to call it Chattanooga whiskey, right? And then the educated whiskey lover in me is going to go, oh, what type of whiskey is it? Is it something different to it? Where's Chattanooga? Is it in Tennessee? So are they doing Tennessee whiskey style? Are they doing something different? Then you start asking more questions, right? Makes sense. No misleading here, right? Let's go to my second nemesis.
Right to the point.
Nulu bourbon or Nulu whiskey. Ain't no confusion here. It's Nulu. What is Nulu? Louisville, downtown, Nulu, right there. Yep. You can't miss it. Trust me, you cannot miss it. And if you're a black person, stay away from there. But you can't miss it. It's right there. Right? It's right there. The name says what it is. Now, the rest of the story about how the whiskey used to be rolled down through Nulu and that is later on. But I'm not confused here.
Sure.
But there's some brands that came on the market where it made me go, what is going on here?
Sure.
Like when I heard but again, there's always a story. When I heard New Riff, I had to ask, why New Riff? When they explain it to me, I'm like, oh, this makes sense. That's why you guys have the swirling thing on the thing. Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Another one. Here's a great example.
Lucky 7.
When I saw this, I was like, what the fuck, man? What's going on with your bottle? What's up with the name? What's up with the label? And then they tell you the story and you're like, fuck, I get it. Makes sense. The whole thing now makes sense. Understood.
Why they have like a movie ticket on every one that you get. Why they have. But now, if we're going to talk even about Lucky 7, that's half story, half marketing.
Of course.
Right?
Of course it
half
is.
Story, half marketing. We, because obviously you understand what it is. Let's go about Blue Run.
Sure.
Because now let's talk about the new kids on the block.
Sure.
Blue Run. When I heard Blue Run, I said, why? Why the name Blue Run? Then it was Butterfly. I'm like, oh. Okay, why the butterfly though? And then they explained, because I didn't know that you guys have a butterfly in Kentucky. That is your stuff. I have no idea.
That's the state butterfly.
But that's because I'm dumb. And I'm uneducated. So now it piqued my interest to know more.
Sure.
But it did not tell me anything gimmicky. That's why let's talk about the people I got on their case when I interviewed him. When I interviewed Jesse, I got on his case about the Doc Swinson. I said, Jesse, this is confusing. Why are you Doc Swinson if you're nowhere in Texas or nowhere in the country and you somewhere down in the city? When he explained what happened, I'm like, okay. It's a brand. You can't really fight it. All right. But if we go with the legacy, Old Forester, all these people. But for example, let's again start with the new kid, barrel bourbon. Did you realize something about barrel bourbon that's quite interesting?
What's that?
There were fucking 2 barrels in it. And they literally started by buying barrels. They didn't even overthink this shit. They just went, we're a barrel company. We just gonna buy a shitload of barrels.
They're the OG buying barrels and blending them.
Yes.
If a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people realize this, but they paved way to where we're at right now.
Correct.
It started with them. They were
barrel
nobody else was doing it like they were doing it.
And They literally, right? They literally went, we have too much barrels and we have a lot of blenders. You know what the fuck we gonna do? We don't, for you blender and the new barrels we have that we don't know what to do with, y'all take it and see what you can do with it. And somebody say, I love my mullet. And they said, no, we can call it bourbon. We can call it bourbon mullet. Flip it backwards.
Tell them.
Stell them. Stell them. There you go. Right? So makes sense. I hear it. I hear you. Now, let's go about rare characters. Rare characters. Right? Pablo, you're not my favorite right now, but rare characters. When I heard that, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a conglomerate of some crazy ass fuck shit barrels. And guess what? That's what it was. Right? Another brand, Short Barrel. Short Barrel. Literally, I ask and I look at the bottle. I'm like, oh, I understand. Literally, the bottle looked like a short ass barrel. As a short man, I can relate. Right? Makes sense. Makes sense. And I always have to remind people of something, right? If there's somebody who actually is very good about being intentional about what they put on the bottle, one brand, Castle and Key.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody say just blew my mind with the stellium. You know what I'm saying? Short Castle and Key is very intentional, right? The objective have always been art, grassroots, something out of the ordinary, but that actually have a lot of meaningful sense, symphony, things we want you to actually relate to. And if you know about Castle and Key's story, you know everything that's there, the restoration ride, and blah blah. I'm like, okay, completely makes sense. There's no gimmick here. There's no gimmick here. Old Carter. Even Old Carter, I had to ask, why Old Carter? When they explain, I'm like, oh, okay. It took me a while to actually even get rabbit hole. It took me a while. Exactly. Right? So when you coming up with a name for your whiskey, I know you want some people trying to be gimmicky, but let's let the consumer relate to your brand. Right? Let the consumer relate to your brand. Because I don't know who sit in the marketing team of some of these whiskeys, but somewhere, I hate to tell y'all, I really, really hate to tell y'all this, but y'all done fucked up.
Knew it was coming. I love that we just transitioned into that. There it is.
That's what it is, because some of your marketing people, they're fucked up. Let's be honest. Some of these people working your marketing team are not giving you what you need to actually be successful.
Yeah.
So to all the marketing people that are out here lying to the product managers and the producer, you're then fucked up. You're then fucked up.
I had a conversation. This is great because this is. I had a conversation with a brand. It doesn't matter who they were, but it was actually got to sit down with the person who started the brand. I was like, dude, what are you doing with your fucking what are you doing with your social media marketing? What's wrong with you? And he goes, well, what do you mean? And I laid it all out, and I was like, examples A through E, and he's like, fuck. And I was like, what are you doing? He goes, it's not me. He goes, I hired somebody. And I was like, well, you need to fucking find out what's wrong with them. If brands, if you're watching this, if you're hanging out right now, make sure the people that are making you look good actually know what the fuck they're talking about. Do your homework. Don't get into a situation where the firm or the PR or the marketing that's running your brand is running you into the ground. I've seen it happen way too much in the last 5 years. Some of the brands aren't even around anymore, partially because the marketing ran them into the ground, because they weren't paying attention.
They weren't paying attention. Actually, one of the brand that I'm trying to bring on the show now is part of it. I say there's nothing more confusing than your brand. When I had a conversation with a person.
Sure.
And he's like, what do you mean? I say, you done fucked up, bro. You can't put this type of picture and things on your brain and then turn around and say, I'm all about this, this, and that. That doesn't make any sense. Make no sense.
Sure.
Makes no sense. I do not agree with that type of business doing. So, like, let's take a perfect example.
Is that Woodson?
Is his name? Is him? Fuck you. My name is on it. Easy breezy, beautiful cover girl.
Where is it? I have one of those too. It's something I got when I was in Montana, and it's this old dude who makes whiskey in the hills of Montana, and it's a picture of him and his name. He's like, fuck it, I make whiskey. Fuck me.
It.
Like he goes, I don't give a shit. Just come at me. I'm fucking making prohibition style whiskey. Fuck you. Straightforward. Awesome.
Straightforward.
Awesome.
Right? So what triggered this conversation? Is the brand you mentioned earlier.
Sure.
Old Louisville. Okay.
Sure.
Now, Old Louisville came up with their whiskey, and I hope they can actually come on a show. We can actually ask more questions. But Old Louisville released their whiskey last weekend. And there's memes. I think Bourbon Santa and You Will Hate It. You Will Hate It here on IG made a thing, and Kevin Rose also made a meme that say, where in Indiana is Louisville again? Right. So, and the meme say, where in Indiana is Louisville again? Now, why?
Do you know the reason behind the name?
No, I don't.
Okay, so where I used to live in Old Louisville, right down the street was Red Castle Liquors. Amin owned Red Castle Liquors. Before he started Old Louisville, he had barrels laying down at MGP that were eventually going to be the Old Louisville brand. He sold that liquor store, because you can't have a brand and have a liquor store, right? He sold that and started this venture, Old Louisville. And because it started at Red Castle and Old Louisville, I'm giving you the super short version. That's the name of the brand. Makes sense, but also get the memes, right? That's fine.
Now, remember, you can call your whiskey anything.
Sure.
That's not an issue. But knowing how the whiskey game is going right now, the amount of people in the whiskey industry that you're trying to go to, and especially the amount of jerks that are in Louisville.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of trolls. There's a lot of trolls here.
Right? I will tell you why now. The label I fucking love. Remind me of Strain of Hand.
Yeah.
The design, perfect. But if you call your brand Old Louisville, and it has nothing to do with Louisville, especially if you call it Old Louisville.
Sure.
Like, it is a head scratcher, isn't it?
A little bit. I mean, if for me it makes sense, because I didn't grow up, but I watched it evolve when I lived. I literally lived walking distance from his liquor store. So I went down there and hung out with him fairly often, and we would bullshit and talk about it. So for me, I get it, right? It makes sense. But outsider perspective, understood. Like, it's a lot of like, the fuck you doing, man? The fuck you doing? Why are you doing? What are you doing?
When I heard the brand Old Louisville, I was like, "Are you shitting me right now?" Because when I heard the brand all Louisville, and he even sent me the invite, I was actually excited. I'm saying, oh, if I was in Louisville, I want to go there. I want
Sure.
to listen to, you know, I want to
It's
listen to his story, how
it's
long he's
funny
been
how
there,
I got the invite. I got
and
the
he,
invite through a marketing firm. The marketing firm that he hired invited me. Like, there's a new brand here in Old Louisville, and I was like, I'm fucking friends with this guy. What the
right.
fuck?
So I got a DM it on
There it
IG,
is.
and I sat there and I'm like, okay. So I was expecting to actually hear great things about, especially being an immigrant, right?
This is the one I was talking about
Uncle
earlier from
Carl, yeah,
Montana.
Uncle Carl,
Uncle
yeah.
Carl's
I was
Prohibition
expecting
style whiskey.
to hear his connection to old Louisville, and how is it that these barrels meant a lot to him, about what his connection to Louisville is. And it came disingenuously.
Okay.
If I'm my immigrant threats is kicking in, but if it came it came it came fake.
Okay. Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay, because he's no better than Good Times.
Ooh. Okay.
Because it's like, oh, we are so and so, but we this, and you go, okay, but really not like equal to Good Time. Those people are creepy.
Okay. Okay. That's how I was like, oh.
But I'm talking about, it's like, look here, but here, right? Look here, but here.
Sleight of hand.
So
Sure.
correct. So, but he's like, but I looked at it and I'm like, no. And literally was Kevin Rose posted this meme, and I came and I literally say it came off as if it was misleading, right? Old Louisville, I'm expecting some Kentucky thing like Old Carter, some Kentucky juice, and that was blah blah blah. But he wasn't. It was just MGB. And which I have no problem with somebody selling MGP. All our good friends in the industry are bottling MGP or blending MGP. But when you call your brand Old Louisville,
Sure.
right? Justin House of Bourbon is huge. When they
Sure.
wanted to bring out their whiskey, what did they call it? Justin House of Bourbon.
Not just a bourbon. And it was Kentucky whiskey because Justin's House Bourbon is in Kentucky.
But whatever it is that they will put in that bottle wouldn't matter to me because it's just Justin House of Bourbon.
It's Justin House Bourbon. Sure.
So I didn't give a shit.
Sure.
So for me, I just want to remind every single marketing slash, people out there that are coming up with their brands. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Do me a big favor. Before we put you in the segment of you done fucked up, before we put you in this segment, do me a favor. Think about the effect of your brand. Think about the story. Because this story, like you were telling me right now about old Louisville and new Louisville, and I'm like, I don't know that shit, and I don't care about that shit. In no way, shape, or form, I relate to new Louisville or old Louisville. That
Sure.
matters to me.
Sure.
Right? Make sure that your story is relatable to everybody, or at least a major population that are consumers of your product. Otherwise, I hate to tell you this, but you done
Fucked up.
fucked up.
You done fucked up.
That's my 2 cents to it, because all the brand that came out recently that are putting up bangers out in this industry right now, from the Uncle Nearest of the world, from the VA Distillery, from the Barstow Bourbon companies, from the Nulus of the world, of the all the Chattanoogas, or the what do you call it? Um, Even the last thing that Ryan sent me from Justin House of Bourbon that has to do with the jockey. the Old Carter, the Four Gates, all these new brands that are racking, I mean, thousands of dollars. Thank you, Andy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Andy. Appreciate you, buddy.
Um, all these brands right now are being intentional. And I wouldn't want anybody to come in the game and not be intentional. You have to.
So here's the thing. I'm just want to touch on this one more time. The old Louisville thing. Okay, so this is what the logo looks like now. Okay,
Now,
I believe so. Okay,
but that's not the bottle that came out.
no, I don't think it is. Um, and then at one point, it looked like this,
Okay.
and then at another point, it looked like this. Look at that one. I mean, this really makes no sense. I'm waiting for you to look. Jack, wake up.
Okay.
I mean, it really makes no sense.
Okay.
For me, what I would have really liked to see, and this is somebody who lives here in Louisville, if you look up Red Castle Liquors, the building is this really cool fucking castle, and it's right on the corner of First and is it First and Oak? I think it's First and Oak.
So why
So
didn't
look
he
up.
call it Red Castle thing?
I don't know. I don't. But it would, for me, what I know living here, I would have liked to see a silhouette or something of like the building where this all started and the name Old Louisville. To me, that makes sense, and you could put the whole story behind it. The story I gave, you can put
Correct.
the whole story behind it, and people go, "Fuck yeah, dude, I get it. That's awesome." I don't know. Like I haven't, like I said, I haven't got a chance to sit down and talk to him about it, but to me, that would have been fucking awesome and spot on.
So I'm not crazy.
No, not at all. I just don't. I don't. Man, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know.
Okay. All I'm gonna say is one of those things where I truly believe in approachability and relating to things that actually anybody put out there.
Of course.
And I don't care who you are. I don't care. I really don't care who you are. I want people to succeed. So for that reason, I'm very picky. I'm very picky about. Um, I hate not to be honest
Sure.
with people.
Yeah, I mean, here's how the label ended up.
That's what I said. That's what I know.
I really wish it would have been like. I feel like at some point here. Let me see. No, he's taking it down now. But I mean, I know he's gonna be great because he's a great person and he's super transparent, like I said.
I wish that came off more. I like like let me kind of tell you something.
Yeah, for sure.
This is a bro moment.
Yeah, let's go.
Like there's three things in this industry I want to accomplish. Right. When I'm at the pinnacle of what hood sommelier should be, I should be able to put up. I should be able to go around the U.S. and put up events where African food, who I am, African food, and whiskeys from all around the U.S., featuring a chef and a whiskey from that state to actually bring something in for the people. That's one. Two, be able to educate and bring people together, especially new consumers, to brands where they understand that you don't have to be up here. The people that are willing to spend money now on your brand are just down here, right?
Sure.
Fight this to it and bringing new consumers into of the whiskey industry to these brands. Three, be able to be the first person to put up the first African whiskey, out there for the people, so I can show the people what the African continent has to offer when it comes to our distillery. Those are the three things, right?
Sure.
There's no way I will approach these things um, without being unapologetically authentic to me, right?
Hmm.
There's no way I will come up with a whiskey and call it uh, Huskers because I lived in Nebraska. No, I'll give it an African name.
Sure.
Why? Because it has to be something that resonate with.
Right.
There's no way I will have those food and events and not say call them Afro Caribbean or African something, Afro fusion. That's why I called it Afro fusion. Afro fusion, fusion of these two cultures. There's no way I would do a tour like the Hood Sommelier tour. If I call it the Hood Sommelier tour, I call it you know, the safari tour, whatever it is that I call it, it has to relate to me. So when people hear it at first, they'll be like, who's the person again? And when you say it, they'll be like, oh, it makes sense. Before even they start digging into the question, they're like, oh, it kind of makes sense. So it's I do have some of that moonshine sitting right here. I do. So the one thing I'm gonna do is I'm planning on doing this is as a gift because I've been late on Scotch School this year, and I apologize to all the Patreon. I have packages that I'm packing ready. If I show you guys are gonna be surprised. But I I'm actually gonna send my Patreon African moonshine. You all are all receiving African moonshine. Anything above the plug is getting African moonshine at home from me. You guys get to try it and see exactly what the experience is about. Um, I'm making sure that you all get some at home so y'all can really
Let's go.
what African moonshine tastes like. And if you want to do it right, buy yourself and
Oh.
some Guinness and
Mm,
pour some in it, and
mm,
you that's fine.
mm.
We are also
You done stole my heart.
we also gonna have a meetup when I send the African moonshine out, so you guys can actually just we are all gonna have a stout and some African moonshine to actually for you guys to
It's
actually
so
have
good. It's so good.
a
It's
true
so good.
experience, a true experience of it. And for all you guys that I keep supporting my Patreon every month, I promise you, I am truly grateful. You guys have no idea. If I tell you what the last 6 months of my life has been, no one will believe me, even if I tell you. I know I have a smile on my face every day, but it's been 2022 has been a struggle. But I wake up every morning and I tell myself, there's no way I'm not gonna keep going and smiling for every one of you. Yeah. I'm setting up a Zoom. We're gonna have a meetup, right? That'll be our Patreon meetup on a Zoom that we are going to have. I'm setting up for first week of October. So first week of October, we're gonna have our Patreon
Yeah, that's right. His phone probably rang. He's frozen. First weekend of October. Oh, he's back. He's back.
So if you're not a Patreon, you need to know that you want to be a Patreon of the
Come
Hudson.
hang out. Come hang out in the cool kids club.
We are actually going to have a meetup, and in that meetup, we are going to start it the right way. Every Patreon is going to get some African moonshine,
You know I'll be there.
and we are actually going to have our own party. We'll be listening to some African music. I swear to God, you can't take Morgan nowhere.
So we don't have nice things.
It's a meetup. It's not a meet up. It's a meetup. But anyway, for all of you guys that are here, I wanted to remind you that we are not here to criticize anybody. We are here to bring our input so you guys can understand exactly that there is a different perspective to things that you guys see. Right? We want to make sure that you understand it. Um, Everybody, I will never come down and knock down what the effort somebody put in to create something. Just have to make sure that you know that we truly care. That's why we say something.
Mm.
To all these brands that are here, if you're afraid to actually bet on us, bet on me or bet on Tim, just remember we truly care. We are not here about the fluff, the fame, or whatnot. We truly care about the industry and the people involved in,
Yeah,
from the bartenders to the whiskey lovers to the whiskey reviewers to the people that just want to know more. We truly care.
totally.
Bullshit is not what we are about. And I will, and who wouldn't love it that a rock star is on their show or a film star is on their show.
Why not? Yeah.
But I feel sometimes like if I'm gonna put the effort to bring on a celebrity on a show, like I'll bring if somebody asked me today, which celebrity would you like to have on the show? I would say bring me Matthew McConaughey.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! I could fuck with that guy any day.
The reason why is because he is truly about what he's doing. He's just like us. No bullshit. hmm He's no bullshit,
Ah!
right? Right? He's no bullshit. When he did Long Branch, when people started asking him why would you support a brand, he was honest about it. I love this whiskey. That's what I drink, and that's what it is. Right.
I got to say two things about this because I'm a huge Wild Turkey fan.
Right.
So Jimmy and at some point, Jimmy and Eddie's names have always been on Wild Turkey.
Mhm.
No one else's signature has ever been on the bottle. It's always been them until Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey was the first person besides the Russells to have a name on a bottle. Now, when they were developing, when Eddie and McConaughey were going back and forth, Eddie would send him shit to try to fuck with him to see if he was actually what he was about. And
Correct.
he passed it every single time. That's when you know that you want to actually work with somebody. Like, they're about what they say they're about, man. I'm Yeah, it's kind of gimmicky, you know what? But I like the whiskey. I like what he's
And
about.
and
I
and
like
I will
Wild
tell you,
Turkey.
and the second person I will ever have as a celebrity on this show will be Ryan Reynolds.
Mm,
He never tried to be anything else. He's a gin lover, and he never
dude,
apologized for it.
that guy gives a shit about the industry too. Like,
He's a gin lover, and he never apologized for it. So that
nope.
is another person that I will have on. But I will tell you right now, a lot of these people that are celebrity brands, I'm not a fan of because they're not about it. And the next person I will have on is E40. E40 stood behind his brand, stood behind everything he's put up. Do I drink things that he put up? Not really. But the RTDs that he's putting up now are very, very
RTDs are good, man.
good.
His RTDs are pretty good.
They're good. So I'm all about somebody who is not doing it because of their fame. Because I tell people all the time, and I made a comment on Bourbon and Bourbon with Friend podcast the last time, 2 days ago, and then I didn't want to respond because they didn't get it. When a celebrity puts up a product, the stigma is a celebrity product. So it's up to them to work in reverse on the stigma to prove that this is not only a celebrity product,
Yep.
yet, right? But yet, a product that is meant and loved by a celebrity.
Yep.
And, God bless Kevin Hart. I'm a fan of his, but fuck his tequila, right? The Rock, I'm a fan of his movies, but fuck your tequila,
Yeah.
right? What do you got? All these things that people come up with. Because and again, I want to remind all of you guys that your marketing team is basing your celebrity on
I
just
will. You're done fucked up. I will go. I will go. I will ride this wave too. Brothers Bond. Brothers Bond bourbon. Ian and Paul from Vampire Diaries. They wrote this whole thing about how they're about the community and they're
No.
about the spirit,
Fuck
blah, blah,
that.
blah, blah.
I heard
wrote
them describe whiskey, and I would tell you something. It looked coached.
I wrote their marketing firm and I said, if Ian and Paul are really what they say they're about, and they want to live in a space that's the whiskey community and not just a fandom. I will say this too. If you go to the Brothers Bond Instagram page and look through the comments, not a single fucking thing is about the brand they're putting it out. It's that they put out a brand and somebody's going to fangirl over it or fanboy over it. And so I wrote the marketing firm and I said, if Ian and Paul want to live in a space that's for the community, by the community, and put their money where their mouth is, then show up. Guess what? They sent me bottles. They never showed up. They're not about this. They're about this, which is fine. At the end of the day, it's about money. But be what you're about. What? If you say you're about it, be about it.
Tomorrow I'm actually gonna go. I'm gonna go and send them also an email. I want the other thing I'm gonna do is I'm at that point where I'm tired of the bullshit as well. I'm tired of the coach people that are coming into the industry, right? If you don't love this, get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
If this is not what you love,
there's no reason for you to be here.
There's no reason for you to be here. If you're here for a money grab, get the fuck out. So, guys, I will tell you right now, we are very honest on this show, and if you hate it, this is just, I apologize, but this show was not meant for you. To close the show, we got upcoming news.
I had some cool upcoming news. You go first. You go first.
Hit us with the upcoming news.
September is bourbon. You guys, I'm giving you a whole fucking month to plan ahead for this, okay? September is Bourbon Heritage Month. If you're not from Kentucky, you're not in the Louisville, Bardstown, Lexington area, and you can afford to be here for the entire month of Bourbon Heritage Month, I strongly suggest that you do so, because there's a lot of really cool shit going on. The Kentucky Bourbon Festival is the second week.
We are not marketing the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Do not say their stuff here.
But that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm gonna say this, and I'm repeating this. And if they hear this, I want them to go into their ear. Fuck the Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
Easy, partner.
The reason why I'm saying this is because if you want to get anything that having correlation with the Bourbon Festival, that's fine. Justin House of Bourbon have amazing pick. From last year, I will tell you the only great thing. I will tell you right now, and I'm gonna be very honest with y'all. The only great thing about the Kentucky Bourbon Festival is the picks. Who is the first person that helped with their pick? Justin House of Bourbon. Last year, I got the whole Alice in a Wonderland thing from Rabbit Hole, from the Justin Bourbon Festival. And I don't just talk. I'm about my words.
I know you are.
What is this?
Yeah. I see it.
2021 Kentucky Bourbon Festival. I always supported all the picks from the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Why? Because I believe in the people picking it. But the organization, shit. The people behind it, shit. The communication, zero. That is my opinion, my honest opinion about the Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
See, I don't know this. I only know the single barrel
side.
Know
this. You know this because we emailed them to make sure that we're media at the festival. And did we get an answer?
Nah. Never got an answer. Never got an answer.
Randy Presse, you are the worst organizer on the planet. I'm saying this. If you have a problem, get at me, bro. Last year, you bamboozled people to give you $100 to get a chance to be in the Maker's Mark shit, and you did not make sure to specify that if you pay the $100, it does not give you access to even any of the event. You made it sound as if you paid $125, you are getting ticket to the festival with a chance to actually get it. I'm very honest. I have even the email to show it that Randy Presse is a dick because he does not care about the people that are actually getting to him. I sent email out. Literally Monday Sucks is one of the most known show out there. The least you can do is say, when we send you an email, they go, hey guys, don't know what we can do, but we'll probably give you a media pass for you to go in. He didn't. He didn't. So for people that support the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, go to support your brands. They are the festival. They're trying their best to be there. But if the Kentucky, the funny thing about the, and I'll be very honest. Last year I went to the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. The first time Red, Jolie and I actually got a chance to hang out without actually being professional was at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Do you know who actually gave me ticket to go there? Ryan Alves from Justin House of Bourbon. Right? I, the hood sommelier, Ryan Alves, because I buy so much from Justin House of Bourbon, he actually say, you know what? Absolutely.
Ryan's the truth, bro.
Ryan is so nice.
Yep.
And I get in there and I start looking around. And I look at who they have as media. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, and I go back and I say, did these people put anything or marketed the event? No, they didn't. These people they gave media pass to. There's only one person, the Bourbon Road, I believe, their podcast. I was there doing a live the whole time. But it's not like we didn't reach out to them, we didn't email them and that. Here's what I said is if you're an organization, another thing, you don't need to get black people at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, man. It looks pretty racist in there.
Agreed.
I'm saying this.
Agreed.
You don't think about diversity at all. Like, don't. When people think about Kentucky, they already think about Mitch McConnell, racism, all the craziness, Breonna Taylor, all these things. But why, Randy Presse, would you enforce that stereotype at your own festival? Like, I was the only black guy walking around. And you have your festival far away in Boston. Why don't you bring more diversity? Why don't you reach out? There is 502 Kobe there.
There's a Black Bourbon Society, which is
there's a Black Bourbon Society. Why Randy Presse didn't even say, "Oh, let me come on the show. Let me come on the show. Let me come on these shows to talk about the festival." The Kentucky Bourbon Festival is not inclusive at all. It is not. And I said it. Hate me if you want to, but is the clusterfuck of what the stereotype of Kentucky is. And this needs to change. If Randy Presse and his group doesn't understand yet that bourbon is not a white man game, but is everybody's game, I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry for him because there's no way you are an organizer of an event and your event doesn't say, this is what bourbon looks like. This. Black, white, Asian, Chinese, all of us here drinking bourbon. This
it's the thread of what you and I are about.
Right. But I went to the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. I'm like, what in the whitewash is happening around here? And I'm not chewing my words here. I'm being very transparent. So I told myself, till the day Randy Presse and his crew understand that the Kentucky Bourbon Festival could bring people from all around the world. And I'm not talking about all around the United States, all around the world to Kentucky. Like, I'm working with a brand right now, and if they will always ask me like, "Oh, what would be a good time to actually do the bourbon thing, the Kentucky thing?" I'm like, "Hey, they're in the UK. Like, we want to do a company outing. What would be the perfect time to say, hey, come in September, let's do a tour. Y'all from the UK, let me show you Louisville. 2 days we're gonna spend, 3 days we're gonna spend at the Kentucky Bourbon Festival. Here's your chance to discover Kentucky as a whole." There's opportunities out there.
Sure.
Because all these brands are behind them and give him money, he doesn't give a shit about making sure that all is included. Because Bardstown is already scary for any minority person. This is your opportunity to bring people together around bourbon. Diversity in vendors, diversity in people, diversity in what you stand for. That's what we need. But it's not happening. So, Kentucky Bourbon Festival, for all you white people, make sure you show up. You're invited, 100%.
I'll be there slinging single barrels. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, you have to work, so you'll be there.
I'll be there slinging barrels.
So that's my thing so far. When it comes to that one.
You know, I have to say this is that, like, as far as what I feel about this industry, I would say I have the same amount of rage and feelings that you have, but I'm very reserved on bringing them up and talking about them, because at the end of the day, I still have my white privilege. But the thoughts and feelings that you talk about and you deal with, I deal with on a semi-regular basis, because I don't fucking look the part at all. So I definitely share, and I know what you're saying, and I feel what you're saying, but still, like, I'm at the end of the day, I'm still just a fucking white dude. Like, and it's
completely fine, but that's what originally I asked you to email him. Because I'm like, maybe if the white guy email him, he will answer.
Nope.
Then I emailed him. Then I sent a message, and this is not even me shitting anybody, because y'all know I don't jump on people's cases and accuse them of anything without actually having proof. Kentucky. Yeah, let me see. Kentucky Bourbon. What is this? Is it Kentucky Bourbon Fest? Is that what it is? Kentucky
Festival. KBF.
Let me see. No.
Fuck it. I'm switching to tequila.
Yeah, you feel like you need a shot.
We're getting violent. I'm switching to tequila.
KY Bourbon Fest. That's what it is. Okay. KY Bourbon Fest. Are you guys ready? In 2021, September of last year, I posted about their barrel. March of 2020, and this is not a joke. I don't lie. This is not a joke. I said, hello there. I would like to chat with one of your organizers about a media for the festival. Who will be a good point of contact? Are you ready? They respond March 30th, 7 days later, they respond and say, hey there will be a media request form available on the website soon. In the meantime, can you send an email, any question you have, to info@kybourbonfestival.com. I say, okay. Right? KY info at KY Bourbon Festival. It was April. I sent an email February 11. Before that message I sent, hey, I'm Jack Bigedu. I'm a Spirit Content, IG, YouTube. I would like to ask opportunity to collaborate with KY Bourbon Festival for media for 2022. I want to create an idea YouTube content this year. Please let me know how to proceed. No answer. Then we are talking about April 10 here, April 6th. I sent an email on February 11 at that email and never heard back. They respond again. Thank you for your interest in Kentucky Bourbon Festival. We'll respond to your message as soon as possible. In the meantime, go on the website like the standard message. I said, this is my email, hoodsommelier@gmail.com. Would you please respond to me? They say, okay, great, thanks. This was April 6th. I went back May 10th. Hello. I want to have a conversation with you about my previous email on creating content for the festival. Please let me know what time you may have available to discuss. Still no answer. May, June, July, August, and now in a couple of days will be August 10th. 4 months, no answer. These are not shit I'm making up. Literally, I'm not making this shit up.
I think the thing that's interesting here too is that I approached it from the fact of that, like, I'm a content creator that has this website and this brand behind it. Here's me sending my correspondence from my name at said website, right? Still nothing. Like, in the same boat you are. Like, I think it's bizarre.
So that's just, that's why I put my 2 cents out there, just to remind people that it is great and all, but I hate to say this. They're not an organization that like to work with people. They're more focused on their narrow-minded vision of the whiskey industry. Their friends only, people that they know only, and they're not trying to get out of their comfort zone to know people outside of that circle.
Yeah, I will. That's something I dealt with hard when I first moved here, was that I was nobody. I wasn't in any circle. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody wanted to listen to anything I had to say. It wasn't until I started writing for Modern Thirst that anybody even gave me a second glance. It still won't. I'm a fucking transplant from another state. I don't belong here. I'm not from here. I don't have any social agenda. I didn't go to school here. I don't have money. I don't come from wealth. Like, I could go on forever. Like, it's sad to say, but I still deal with it. It was a lot harder when I first got here, but I still deal with it. It's bullshit.
And it's unfortunate.
Agreed. Very unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. But for all I know is, guys, let's end on a positive note.
Let's end on a positive. Absolutely.
Let's give an advice that does not suck.
Ooh, man, advice that does not suck. I feel like a lamewad for always saying the same thing. I was talking to Rebecca about this tonight. Is that I often get frustrated because I'm in the tunnel and I can see the light now. I mean, I can really see the light now at the end of the tunnel, even more so with what Justin's is doing and the opportunities that they're giving me and the people that I'm meeting and the things that I'm creating and the things that they're letting me do. I mean, I can really see the light at the end of the tunnel as far as where I want to be. But it's just like, just don't give up. Persevere and keep pushing forward to what you want to do. Because at some point, if you're persistent and loud enough, someone's going to pay attention. And they're going to get you and they're going to give you the opportunity. You just got to keep plugging away at it. And that's the hard thing. That's the part where it gets discouraging. because you have this passion. And I'm not just talking about for this industry, okay? This goes for anything. You have this passion that's been planted deep down inside you, okay? For whatever it is. Any industry, anything that you want to be a part of. At the end of the day, you dream about and you're like, man, I really want to be about that. Be about it. Don't give up. Keep plugging away, because at some point you're going to cross paths with somebody and it's going to click and the stars are going to align. The person who's my boss, at some point, her and I cross paths. Her Instagram handle is a little dab of bourbon. She's a fan of the show. She's a fan of what Jack and I do here. She knows what we're all about. And when my name came up in conversation, she goes, yeah, that's a no-brainer. And that's how I got to where I am. But because I kept at it, man, there's plenty of days where I wanted to give up. Plenty of days. Just got to keep at it. If you have the fire and the passion inside you, don't give up. Sorry I sound like a broken record, but I mean, it's really held true to me lately, and got to share it. Jack, what's good?
I'll give you an African parable.
Fuck yeah.
He who carries a pot of honey does not envy the sugarcane farmer.
Fuck, that's amazing. Wow.
He who carry the pot of honey does not envy the sugarcane farmer. What's the moral here? What's the advice that does not suck? Be content of the little you have. Because the little you have may actually be better than anything else somebody else have. Stop looking left and right to see if maybe something is better than what you have. Because as Tim said, if you keep plugging away and just doing what you need to do, that's your pot of honey. By looking on the right and envying the farmers, the sugarcane farmer, for him to get sugar, he have to put in 3, 4, 5 times work to get that. You already have your pot of honey. And it goes the opposite way. When you see somebody get to what they have, you don't know how much work they had to put in to get it. So the privilege you hold in your hand, embrace it. Because others, to be able to get what you have to put in 10, 20, 30 times more work to get what you have. So he who hold a pot of honey should never envy the sugarcane farmer.
There's a reason that racing horses have blinders on. They don't have to look to the left. They don't have to look to the right. All they have to focus is right what's in front of them. I'm running the race. I'm going to get to the finish line. I'm running a race. I'm going to get to the finish line. I don't have to see to the left. I don't have to see to the right. I'm going to go. I'm going to go. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going. There's a reason. I get it all the time. Man, it must be nice to be filling X, Y, and Z. Yeah, you know what? I'll be honest. It is fucking nice. You know how fucking hard I had to work to get to where I am right now? Do you know how many endless nights and tears and blood and pain and suffering that I had to go through, that I know that you had to go through too, Jack? It's been a fucking hard, goddamn long road. You bet your ass it's fucking nice. I finally get to see some reward. I finally get to see some fun, some happiness on all the hard work and shit I've had to go through and put up with. You bet your ass it might be nice. It is. It's also a lot of hard fucking work. Don't give up on it though. If you want it, go for it. There's this I know Will Smith is kind of getting fucking canceled right now, but there's still a fucking movie that I'm always going to hold very near and dear to my heart, Pursuit of Happiness. It's very end of the movie when he's talking to his son and he says, they're playing basketball together. And he's like, if you want it, go get it. Don't ever let anyone tell you you can't have it. It's yours. Go after it. Every time I watch that movie, that line and that moment always hits. It's that moment, and it's the moment when he walks out of the fucking law firm and he puts his hands in the air and he's like, because he fucking made it. Because he went through all the bullshit. He fucking lost his house, his marriage, his job. Guess what? Still fucking did it because he believed in it. Don't give up, man. Don't fucking give up. I'm done. I'm off my soapbox.
Guys, this was Monday Sucks, the place where we talk about everything and anything, and we are brutally honest about things that happen. The place where we unapologetically us for the industry. We may not, we, this is the word I want to end on. And I posted this before. Do not water down your cast strength because somebody wants you at 100%.
Damn.
You are who you are the way you are. Love it, hate it, it doesn't fucking matter. It is what it is. We take it as it comes. This was Monday Sucks. Tim, tell the people where they can find you.
On all your favorite social media platforms at Single Barrel Snob. If you find yourself in the lovely state of Kentucky or you're planning a trip to Louisville, there was actually a couple people in the chat tonight who have planned a trip to Louisville that I get to have a private tasting with this week. Very excited for that. Reach out to me and come see me at Justin House of Bourbon. I'll see you soon, buddy. Yes, sir. Yeah, come see me. Come hang out. Let's get wild. Let's get crazy. Let's get weird. Jack, tell them what's good.
It's simple. It's hood sommelier everywhere. The upcoming news, I forgot to tell you guys, but I'll be sending this also to the Patreon first and to the regular people first, to certain people first. But by the end of this week, Afro Fusion Barstown is dropping. We are gonna get wild and crazy in Barstown. It's gonna be the hometown of Heaven Hill, our partner, and it's September 10th. That is happening. We are going bananas. Everybody's coming home with a special gift that Heaven Hill actually have not released even yet to the to a special gift, and we'll make sure that we actually have something fun for y'all. Food is gonna be there. Music is gonna be there. Jolie, if you're coming, make sure you wear them tight jeans that I like, and we're gonna have a good time. If you're anywhere in the Midwest, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, South Dakota, first week of September, Afro Omaha is happening, the biggest West African festival. That weekend is gonna be packed. I'm doing a VIP tasting experience where you can come and try some bourbon, try some scotch, and I'll be there to tell you all you need to need. That Sunday that is following, I'm bringing Luke Belair. We having a Luke Belair party and all.
Get me all excited. You freeze.
White Park Dakota.
There it is.
And you feel like you actually want to take a moment and celebrate Labor Day in Omaha. I tell you, this is the only time you can actually choose to come to Omaha and have a good time. For all of you guys here, we love you. As always, we keep it real, but we want you to remember this is Monday Sucks. He is Tim Van Riper. I am Jack Bigadoo, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.